As a portfolio manager, a former tax lawyer, guest lecturer, speaker, wife, and mother of three, one of the things I love doing is sharing ideas that come up in my practice more broadly. And a notion that keeps resurfacing is in regard to estate planning, the difference between equal and fair. Now, we all know the classic example of three people standing outside a fence wanting to watch a baseball game, and they're all different heights. So, in order to help them see the baseball game, what do you need to do? Now, giving them all the same size chair or block to stand on isn't the answer because one of them actually can see over the fence already, doesn't need any block. The next one needs a medium sized block, and the last one is quite short and needs a very tall block. So, would it be the right decision to treat them equally and give them the same block? Or is the better decision to be a bit more thoughtful and give them what each of them actually needs in order to see over the fence and appreciate the baseball game? And I think this comes up in life, but it definitely comes up in estate planning. And the question of how to leave assets to children, and whether the more appropriate thing to do is to give them equal shares. Sometimes that might be the answer. It might be straightforward. And then the question might be, well, how do you leave those assets? Maybe the amount is the same, but the actual assets that you're leaving because of circumstances, tax efficiency, should be different. But there are many other circumstances where you may have multiple children, for example, or family members, and they're different people. Their experiences are different, their needs are different, their desires, feelings are different. And so, does it actually make sense to leave them the same? The answer might be no. But what I tend to see is that people find it very difficult to make that decision. And there is no easy solution, and every family is different and often comes with complicated dynamics. But one thing that I would suggest is that communication and working on the relationships and the understanding of values and feelings is actually the real challenge. Because I think that if we can explain, if we can contextualize, if we can um, almost collaborate. Not that you need to find approval or ask for approval in decisions regarding your own estate plan, for example, but when people understand your intentions and your thinking and your motivations, um, I think it goes a lot further in avoiding or preventing conflict, which is ultimately the goal. Because in many cases, you could have the best intentions, you can make decisions that you think are going to make everyone happy, and they don't end up doing that because there is a misunderstanding, or maybe you misjudged the reaction. So it could be a process and you could do it in steps, but I highly encourage people to have these conversations in their family during their lifetimes. You could always write letters as well to go with wills, but communicate as much as possible what you're trying to achieve. What is your legacy? What are your values? Because that goes a long way. And I think, an incredible legacy is leaving family members feeling loved and understood and seen, more so than with a lump sum of money.